What's up, you guys? It's WWE Asylum 16 here, coming at you guys with another Raw review. This time we're going to be talking about this week's Raw, and we kicked off things with a battle royal to determine the number one contender for the Intercontinental Championship. Now, The Miz was on commentary for this match, of course. He wanted to see who was going to be fighting him for the title of Battleground. So this was the match that kicked off Raw. Everybody was in the ring. The only person they had for the end that came out with an entrance was Apollo Crews, and that's when the whole match started. They had a bunch of guys out, like they had the Vaudevillains, they had the Ascension, they had the Lucha Dragons, they had the Dudley Boys, they had Zack Ryder, they had Apollo Crews, they had Ziggler. They had just a bunch of different guys in the ring. They even had freaking Darren Young in there, so I guess that was Darren Young's debut with Bob Backlund, because Bob Backlund was on there at ringside for Darren Young. So, yeah. I don't know how I should really talk about this match. It was just a battle royal. I mean, nothing really happened. It's just a normal battle royal. All I could say was that the final four men were Baron Corbin, Dolph Ziggler, Apollo Crews, and Darren Young. So Corbin and Ziggler took each other out at the end of the match. And then Apollo Crews, I think he took out Baron Corbin as well or something. I don't know. I don't even remember. No. Okay, I'm completely losing track here. My apologies. Baron Corbin took out Dolph Ziggler, and then Apollo Crews took out Baron Corbin. And then Darren Young was the only man standing in the ring. He didn't even realize that he won until his music hit. Darren Young is now the number one contender for the Intercontinental Championship. He will fight The Miz at Battleground for the title. This is going to be Darren Young's first single title match. The last time he won a title was when he was with with Titus O'Neil and the Primetime Players, and the only title he's ever won in the WWE is the Tag Team Championship. Now he plans to go after the IC title with Bob Backlund by his side. Now, I don't know how this is going to turn out. To be honest, I think Miz is going to retain. I don't really see Darren Young winning the title that quickly. I don't know if this feud's going to be... I don't know if this feud between him and The Miz is going to be this long. It might just go on from like a pay-per-view or two, but I'm hearing rumors that Neville might be the one to fight Miz or something for the title. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens, but I just don't think Darren Young's going to pull it off. It'll be a huge surprise if he does, like how Zack Ryder won the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania. I just don't see that happening, but we'll see what happens. So moving on, we have Zack Ryder versus Sheamus. Now, the only reason why this match took place was because it was actually announced for tonight, but the main reason why this was announced was because Zack Ryder, he told Rusev that he wanted to fight him for the U.S. title at Battleground. Rusev said, "Oh, if you want to fight me for the title, then say it to my face like a man." So Ryder, he came on this Monday's Raw. He went up to Rusev's face and he said he wants to fight Rusev for the United States Championship at Battleground. Rusev doesn't accept it yet, and then Ryder gets beat down by Sheamus in the back. So now it's Ryder versus Sheamus. The only reason why Sheamus won this match was because he beat up Zack Ryder in the back. So poor Zack got squashed in this match, even though he won last week. And it was amazing for Zack Ryder to win last week because he won the main event for his team, thanks to Big Show. But still, I really don't understand why he had to make Ryder lose to Sheamus, because he looked dominant last week. It seemed like he was getting a little push or something, because then he went on SmackDown as well when he defeated Sheamus. Then he had this rematch with Sheamus on Raw, and then he lost to Sheamus. So it was disappointing, but hopefully they have big things for Zack Ryder in the future, because I've been a fan of his for a while, and hopefully maybe he'll be the future world champion someday. I don't know. We'll see. It all really depends on what happens. Lucha Dragons took on Breeze Dango. And to be quite honest, I did not expect Tyler Breeze and Fandango to pick up the win here. So they won this match by sort of a little schoolboy roll-up. Tyler Breeze had Kalisto in the corner. I think it looked like Kalisto was going for this Legado del Sol off the top rope, but then he got caught. Kalisto got kicked in the face, like literally under his, like he kicked him like under the legs and then hit him in the face. And then Breeze rolled him up for the pin, and then Breeze down go 1. So, not really that important, so moving on. So, this is actually really, really interesting. Normally, we would have the Ambrose Asylum or Miz TV, you know, but things were a little different this time. Now, earlier in the night, Shane McMahon announced that he wanted the Ambrose Asylum to take place. I don't know with who though. I think it was maybe with Seth Rollins or something. But Rollins had other ideas in mind. He came up with this unique idea to start his own talk show, and he called it the Rollins Report. And I was thinking, you know what, that's really interesting. I'm very looking forward to this. So now we get into the main thing, Rollins Report with Seth Rollins, and his host is his guest is Roman Reigns. However, Roman Reigns is still suspended. So he mentioned earlier, you know, before he even announced about the Rollins Report, he said he has big things to come. He wants the whole world to see what is wrong with Roman Reigns. He thinks that Roman Reigns is a big problem, and he wants him automatically removed from the triple threat match at Battleground between him, Rollins, and Ambrose. So Rollins really wants Reigns out of this match, and he wants to show Shane and Stephanie and the whole WWE Universe and the whole world why Roman Reigns deserves to be kicked out of this match and why he's a huge problem right now. So So Rollins started talking trash again, just like the dominant heel he is. And he showed us this clip, this long clip. It was basically the interview that took place between Roman Reigns and Michael Cole a couple weeks back. Or maybe it was like, I don't know, maybe this was before Money in the Bank or something, because Reigns had the title on his shoulder at this time. So this was, of course, edited out by Seth Rollins himself. And he was, I guess you could say he was interviewing Roman Reigns. So he started asking Reigns all these questions, and then he was teasing him with like, "Oh, do you think you deserve to be in this title match?" And Reigns is like, "Honestly, no, I don't." And then he started talking. He started talking about how Roman Reigns is like being a disrespectful person to the WWE Universe. And we all knew it was a whole setup by Rollins, but it was so funny to see it. Jeez. I don't even know how Rollins pulled that off, but he pulled it off. He actually made some people believe that was real, even though it was not. Because first off, if Rollins were to interview Roman Reigns, why would Roman Reigns be smiling at him? I knew that didn't make any sense, but it was still pretty funny to see that happen. Then Ambrose came out, and then this is when things really, really got interesting. Dean Ambrose came out, you know, our WWE champion. He came out, and then he started mentioning to Rollins, because Rollins has been begging for this one-on-one match between him and Ambrose to happen for the championship. And Ambrose, I swear to you, Ambrose had like literally the best promo ever. Literally, it was the coolest promo I've ever heard from him. You know, he was talking about, you, Roman Reigns, Vince McMahon, or even God himself is gonna have to take this title off my cold, dry hands. And it started getting a lot better. Ambrose was just on fire on the microphone tonight. Really, really liked what he had to say, and it really got interesting when he mentioned to Rollins, you know what? You wanted a one-on-one match for the title, anytime, any place, you got it. So now Ambrose is challenging Rollins to a championship match. Is this gonna happen? Oh, maybe it might. Well, I'll tell you what, it does happen, because after this segment was over, Rollins thought Ambrose was crazy, like how crazy is the Lunatic Fringe. So Ambrose, he like I say, he challenged Rollins to a championship match, possibly before Battleground, I would say. And this match was made official right after the commercial break. So now it's taking place next week on Monday Night Raw, the final Raw before the draft, the final Raw before Battleground. Dean Ambrose, the WWE champion, is defending his title against the man Seth frickin' Rollins. I cannot wait for this match. It could really change up everything. It could really screw up everything between the title match at Battleground. Who knows what could happen? I don't know if I see Ambrose retaining here, but I would really love him to see it retain. However, Rollins is he makes a good point when he says that Ambrose might have stole the title from him, but you know what? Rollins won the title at Money in the Bank clean. He beat Roman Reigns clean in an awesome match. And Rollins, he said he wanted to reclaim the title that he never lost. He did that at Money in the Bank, and then he got the title taken away from him by Dean Ambrose when Dean Ambrose cashed in his Money in the Bank contract the same night. And that's when we found out that all three members of the Shield were WWE champion in under 5 minutes, which is really, really cool. And that's like a huge record. So that was really cool to see. So now we got this championship match taking place next week. I cannot wait for it. Really don't know who's gonna win here. I really want Ambrose to retain, but then again, I really want Rollins to win the title back. It's hard to choose here, but I would really want Ambrose to keep the title for at least 6 or 7 months or something. He needs to have at least a decent title reign before he drops it to Rollins. You know? Okay. So moving on, now we got Cesaro versus Kevin Owens. Sami Zayn was originally supposed to be on commentary for this match. He wanted to be on commentary for this match. Shane McMahon allowed him to be on commentary for this match, but Kevin Owens didn't want to buy into this crap. Kevin Owens said he wants Zayn out of there. He wants Sami Zayn out of the arena. He wants him out because Cesaro didn't even come out yet. And Owens said he does not want to have this match until Sami Zayn leaves the commentary table and goes back to the locker room. So the referee, what do the referees do? They get Sami Zayn out. They toss him out. They didn't toss him out, but they force him out. Poor Sami. Really wanted to see him on commentary. You know, it would have been cool to see him on commentary. You know, it didn't really matter. It wasn't that big of a deal. So Sami Zayn went backstage, and that Kevin Owens finally came out. But before this match even took place, Zayn came up to Owens. I almost said Rollins again. Zayn came up to Owens as Owens made his entrance, and they started beating the hell out of each other once again. These guys are just unstoppable. They just want to beat the hell out of each other. They've been feuding for months. They've been feuding for years. They've been best friends for over 14 years, and now they just want to tear each other apart. And this rivalry is getting so freaking intense. I love it. I cannot wait for these two to go at it at Battleground. They tore the house down at Payback when they fought each other in that one-on-one match. And I can guarantee you the one they're going to have at Battleground in 2 weeks is going to be even better. Possibly the match of the night, but we'll see. So that now we move on to the main match, Cesaro versus Kevin Owens. Every time these guys have a match, I really just get amazed. I loved every bit of it. Cesaro pulling off everything he could. But in the end, Kevin Owens, he doesn't win with the Pop-Tart Powerbomb. He ends up winning the match with a different move. It looked like, I couldn't really tell what it was, but he had Cesaro up on his shoulders, on his back, and then he spun him around and dropped him with the neck breaker. It was kind of like a spinning neck breaker, sort of, but he had him up on his shoulders. It was like a twirl spinning neck breaker, but it was pretty cool, and that's how Kevin Owens won. I really wasn't thinking Kevin Owens was going to win that way, but he did. So that was cool. New Day and Wyatt family. Now, I mentioned last week that the Wyatt family, they had this segment where they had the Wyatt family invite the New Day to their compound, and this ended up taking place, I think they said maybe this took place last week or SmackDown or something. So this took place. It was a huge brawl between the New Day and the Wyatt family. It didn't seem like a wrestling match. It was more like a fight, more like a brawl, because it kind of looked like a horror movie scene, like a horror movie fight scene, because there was no referees, there was no commentary. It was just an all-out brawl, and it really started getting intense. You know, some guys were they were going through mud and stuff, and it was really getting intense. And then they all backed off when once the Wyatt family had taken advantage. New Day backed up. So Xavier Woods took out Bray Wyatt. Started beating the hell out of him with a trash can lid. Yeah, and then all things just went crazy, And then they had all of the I don't even know what you call it, the kids or whatever, with the sheep mask. And then that's when the New Day backed off, and they're like, okay, we're not going to deal with this anymore. And now it's made official that the New Day and the Wyatt family will face each other at Battleground. However, it's not for the tag team titles. I feel like they're going to be saving this tag team title match for SummerSlam because definitely this feud is definitely not going to be over that quick. It's probably going to be going on for maybe 2 or 3 months, I would say. But I think what they're gonna do is that since the New Day are like so damn close to beating Paul London and Brian Kendrick's 334-day title reign as tag team champions, I feel like they're gonna have the New Day break that record. Excuse me. And become the longest reigning tag team champions. And then they're gonna have they're probably gonna have that rematch at SummerSlam for the tag titles, and then they're probably gonna have the Wyatt family take the titles away from the New Day. So yeah, I would love to see the New Day break this record, and you know what? I'll actually be quite happy once the Wyatt family become tag team champions because. You know, they've been actually trying to get those tag team titles for years. You know, they tried against the Usos. They tried against the Shield. They never got a hand on those titles. They never even got to pose with the titles. Like, seriously, I think this is going to be the year that the Wyatt family actually win titles. We'll see. It really all depends on what happens here. But I love the New Day. Always will. They always been one of the funniest, hilarious, most entertaining comedians, tag teams. Like they're just unbelievable, and I always just been a fan of them. But I feel like once the record breaks, they should at least drop the titles to the Wyatts, and then hopefully they could stay as a team or something. But we'll see. It all depends what happens. So yeah, that was a pretty unique segment, I should say. Now moving on, we had Titus O'Neil taking on Heath Slater. It was just a normal match. It wasn't anything special. You notice how these two were former tag team partners. I forgot these two were even a team. They called themselves Slater Gator or something. They had a pretty unique song too. It was kind of weird, but Titus O'Neil picked up the win here. Nothing really special. Enzo and Big Cass, they took on the Club in tag team action. It's just setting up for their match at Battleground. You know, with Cena against the Club. So so Big Cass and Enzo they lost this match to AJ Styles, or not to AJ Styles, to Luke Gallows and Anderson. I think